My name is Neil Peters. I am the Community Engagement Officer for the Environment First team at Lewes District Council. I'd like to talk a bit about the waste hierarchy and maybe what we should be thinking about before we start recycling. Okay. I've got a slight issue with this slide. I think that the recycling should be at the bottom and everything else should come across the top of that. As a society, as a nation, we are using too much. We are using too much plastic. The producers are producing too much plastic. We have too much out there, bright, shiny, that we like. We can walk down any high street, anywhere in the country, any shopping centre, and there will be shops selling bright, shiny objects that catch our eye and we'll think, oh, we'll have one of them, or we like one of them, we'll buy that. Yeah, we need to start refusing the stuff that we don't need. We need to start refusing to buy the stuff that's got too much packaging. It happened a few years ago when people said Easter eggs have got too much packaging on them. If you walked into a supermarket 10 years ago, you would see every Easter egg had silver foil, plastic wrap and then cardboard. You look now and you'll find, apart from the most expensive ones, the rest of them have cardboard and silver foil. That's because people didn't want to buy it, people refused to buy it, people were saying this is wrong. So it does work. So refuse to buy the stuff that you don't need. Reduce the amount of stuff that you're buying. The food waste service that we have in Lewes started off at about 45% participation across the district. It's now down to about 25%. The amount of food waste we got was quite high at first and it started to lower. People were seeing how much food that they are throwing away at the end of the week by filling up these kitchen caddies. We've had people telling us this, we don't need it anymore because we don't throw away that much food. And by having a food waste bin in your kitchen and you're scraping off food at the end of, you suddenly realise, why am I cooking so much? Why am I buying so much? Why am I throwing this away? It really helps to make you think about what we do. And another thing I'll say there, never go shopping hungry. Anybody goes shopping hungry, you impulse buy. Make a plan, think about what you're doing before you go shopping. Reusing stuff, and this is an ideal place for reusing. You know, when this opened 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we never knew there were so many jam jars. But the call went out and people delivered to people, gave us stuff. People donated their bits that they didn't know what to do with. I had somebody yesterday talking about turning these Tetra Packs, cutting off the top, folding them down and using them as on-the-go coffee cups. Can be used for a while as a coffee cup. It's a second use. It's better than a single-use item. So, reusing stuff. I know every time I get a takeaway from the Chinese, those plastic cartons they come in, my fridge is full of them now with stuff that I need to eat because I'm reusing them. I'm not instantly throwing those away. Repair. We have a repair shop in Seaford. We have one in Ringmer. I think there's one in Lewes. So there are repair shops across the district. I know many years ago my nan used to darn my socks. She never told me how, she never showed me how to do it, but she used to darn them. Oh, well, our socks lasted forever. I've got a hole in the pair I'm wearing now. Re-gifting stuff. If you don't want it, there are other people that can make use of it. There are charity shops in abundance across this district. Everywhere you look, there's a charity shop there. Please take the stuff that you don't want to them. They don't just take clothes, they take all sorts of things. And maybe, I know this is so simple, but the tops of your bottles, there are charities that take these to make money. So gift them to somewhere else. Don't have to recycle them. You don't have to put them in your household recycling. I like this display here, it's not mine, but I can use it as props on there. Recovering, that's more of a industry bits. So recovering the precious materials that are in the electronics especially. I mean, there's gold in some of these older electronics, and people make good money with recovering the materials that are in there. Electrical items should not and must not go into our recycling, household recycling. Electrical items that are broken or that need replacing can be taken back to the shop where you're buying a new one of. There's a return scheme that happened where any shop that sells an electrical item must take an equivalent electrical item back if somebody purchases it. So if you've got, I pick on toasters all the time. If your toaster breaks and it's no longer working and it cannot be repaired, and you say to yourself, I'm going to buy a new one, take your old toaster with you, purchase your new toaster and hand them the old one and say, can you put this in your recycling please? And they will say, yeah, of course I can, thank you very much. I'll put it there and it will go into their recycling. There are companies set up across the country that will take these recycling and break them down, strip them down to their component parts and recycle them. Okay? That's any shop that sells an electrical item will do that. I know, I've done it. I left the top off the kettle at work and I walked away from the kettle and I'm sitting at my desk. Suddenly the fire alarm's going off. Steam in the kitchen and it's heated up and the fire alarm's gone off and we all thought it was a test and we all walked outside and somebody said, who did the test then? Oh no, not a test. Oh no, we've got a fire. Walked back in and there was the kitchen, they couldn't see where they were going for it. Kettle's boiled dry. Neil, you have to go and get a new kettle now because how are we going to have a cup of tea? Took the old one down to Argos in New Haven, walked in, said, can I have a kettle please? Thank you very much. I said, well, I paid for it. I said, can you put that one in your recycling for me? They said, yes, of course we can. Nothing, no battered and iron, just put it there. I took a broken iron down to Curry's in Eastbourne and put it on the side and said, can you put that in your recycling for me please? And they said, yes I can. I didn't have to buy anything at Curry's. Any shop that has over 400 square foot of space dedicated to selling electrical items, you do not have to do a purchase. You can just take your Hoover that's broken and say, can you put that in the recycling? You take microwave, yeah? They're not taking tellies, and they're not taking fridge freezers, but the small electronic items, they will take and put in their recycling for you. This is law, this is legislation, they must do it. If anybody doesn't do it, then they are wrong. And then finally we get to recycling. There's lots of ways to recycle. There's not only the way that the council does it, we've already spoken about how the supermarkets take some hard to recycle packaging. There are online forums like TerraCycle that have free to enter recycling streams. Colgate can send you a envelope for oral care, that you put all your oral care in there once it's done and send it back, your toothpaste tubes, your old toothbrushes, your toothpicks, etc. Regardless of whether they're Colgate or not, they still accept it. Gillette do exactly the same thing with shaving. So these are all free. So TerraCycle, go on there, look for the free services and they can send you the bits. There are alternative ways of recycling that are not household green bins. There's also the household waste recycling centres that are dotted around the district, Cradle Hill, Ham Lane, or can't remember the road and the name, the one in New Haven, but they are dotted around the place and they have more bins for different types of materials and bigger materials, and they take wood and hard plastics and big tellies and fridge freezers. None of those things are charged for. The only things they charge for, I believe, are tyres, asbestos and soil, hardcore, I think. So it's